Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins here. We've got a special for you. It's radio live right now, taking your calls from around the world. It's October 27th, 2020, and let me tell you, the world is lighting up with the UFO phenomenon. People are capturing it on their cameras. They're submitting it to us right here at Third Phase of Moon. If you haven't watched our last few videos that we posted, wow, Hawaii lit up with crazy sightings, including Arizona and the UK. But right now, this is Third Phase of Moon Radio Live, and we're taking your calls from around the world, hearing your testimony. If you've had a UFO experience, we want to hear it. But keep your stories down to 5 minutes or so. We want to make room for all the callers that are lining up. Boy, we got a lot of them. Let's just get to it. Give us a big thumbs up, everybody. We're doing it right now. Third Phase of Moon Radio. Let's go to area code 310. You're live, Third Phase of Moon. How you doing today?
Hey, how you doing, Blake? This is Brad from Pacific Palisades, California.
Hey, Brad, right on. Hey, thanks for joining us. What's on your mind? Anything going on over the state of Cali?
Yeah, some cool stuff. I wanted to give you a cryptoid sighting to start off really quick. I know I'm going to be fast for the other callers. My cryptoid sighting was 3 years ago. Me and my buddy were standing on the bluff right here on the cliff over the beach, and we see this black object flying towards us, and it got bigger and bigger, and I thought it was like a remote control glider, about 6-7 foot wingspan, nothing too fancy coming at me. But as it got closer and closer, we realized, I thought it was maybe a giant pelican, but as it got closer, we realized it was a pterodactyl. This thing had an ancient face, giant teeth on the side of his beaks, horn off the back of the head, skin-like membrane, and it flew over the 60-foot palm tree right by my house here. And I asked the guy trimming the trees the next week, how big is the diameter of a palm ball at the top of it? He said at least 25 feet. So when this thing flew over, we had a measuring device, as it were, and its wings extended beyond the 25-foot diameter palm top. And it was the freakiest thing I've ever seen. It didn't flap its wings once, except as it flew about a quarter mile away, we watched it pump or pedal once, really slow motion, huge wings, and then turned up the canyon. Most incredible. I had another guy there with me. It wasn't like I was on something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy. So you're saying the wingspan of this creature, this pterodactyl-like dinosaur bird, was 25 feet in wingspan, and pretty much riding the thermal waves.
Yes. And for a second, Blake, I thought it was maybe a government. I thought it was a government drone, perhaps, or some kind of. It didn't make a sound, but we had a good look at it. It was a long sighting. It wasn't a quick flash. We watched it for at least a minute, and we were dumbfounded. Now, my other sighting is right off here in front. I'm looking at the Santa Monica Bay. I'm an avid photographer, and I got a nice Leica camera, and I took one of these shots. I thought I had a speck of dust in the lens. Maybe I got a defective camera. So I went back to Leica there in Beverly Hills. They said, no, the camera's fine. Took it home and blew this dot up again. And as I blew this up on the Mac computer, I saw a boomerang-shaped craft over the ocean with the ocean rolled back the exact shape of this craft. It's like it was ready to accept it. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen. I've got one still image of that.
You're going to have to send that to my email in this show so I could get it up in an hour on my YouTube. Can you get it to me?
You know what? I'm computerless right now. My Mac is down, but I'm going to get that to you because that's a one-off shot. I watch your show all the time, brother, and aloha and mahalo, and I'm always over in the islands. And I've never seen anything like this. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Let's get back to this cryptid. Do you think dinosaurs still exist, and there's these extinct creatures, or supposedly extinct, that still are among us today?
That's a fascinating question, isn't it? Perhaps one of them escaped the extinction project or whatever happened, whether it's an asteroid, a freeze, whatever it was, maybe something like this, and it's a flying cryptoid, was in the air maybe, or was in a cave, somehow escaped it. I don't know what to tell you. I had another guy with me there, another very believable. He has a boat. He's on the ocean all the time. We live here on the water. I've never seen anything like it. It was massive, ancient, and it was just trimmed out, like you said, riding the thermals. It had no feathers, little tiny feet underneath, a skin. You could see the sun through the skin. Trippy, bro.
What if it were like the movie Jurassic World, and there is this secret Jurassic Park out there where these mad scientists are building these dinosaurs along with pterodactyls, and then, God forbid, they escape from the island, and maybe one of these creatures escaped from Jurassic Park.
Yes, or a modern-day Jurassic Park, perhaps reverse engineered through genetic science, trying to build something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe it got away from the lab. I don't know, bro, but it was a one-off, 25-foot at least wingspan.
Wow.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I would have loved to see this. You know, we get a lot of UFO sightings, but I don't receive any really dinosaur videos or pterodactyl video or photos, but I know there are these authentic, well, they seem authentic, like the old Western photos of these cowboys that have one of these in their possession and they shot them down.
Yes, Blake, you're on it, dude. That's the picture. I ran in here as fast as I could to the computer, punched what I saw in, and that's the shot that I got. Those cowboys in that black and white sepia tone shot, they got the wings out, they shot it down. That's what I saw right there, that massive bird right there.
Hey, let me ask you this, Brad. You're a photographer, you say. You got a Leica camera. You know what's real or fake. Well, not everybody's an expert. Nobody is. You know, we all could be fooled every once in a while. But let me ask you, do you think those photos of those Western black and white sepia-colored photos are authentic?
I think that one's real. Yeah, I am an expert on Lightroom. I mean, I've sold high-end images all throughout Los Angeles in homes, museums, law firms, whatever. So I've been blowing up pictures and doing this. That picture, I think, is real. I think that's real. I've analyzed everything from those guys' boots to their hats to their guns, their shirts, the way they look, their shaven face. That looks authentic to me. And they were bragging about it, the way they were holding it out. Fascinating.
No, I believe that there are creatures that are among us, like the plesiosaurus, possibly in Lake Loch Ness, or deep below our oceans in the abyss, the mega creatures that still have yet to be discovered. But, you know, it wasn't just too long ago that the mammoth once roamed, the saber-tooth, and now they've, the coelacanth was a fish that they thought was extinct 70 million years ago, but it turns out they're in parts of the oceans, I think in Indian Ocean. But, there are creatures, cryptids that exist. Hopefully we can get some really good
evidence. And don't
forget
about the megalodon shark.
The megalodon, yes. Orca
the big shark that makes that great white look like a tadpole.
Yeah, he'll just swallow the great white for breakfast, basically, and then and go and battle with an orca-toothus. You just never know. There's things out there that
your stuff. Yes, the orca takes the kidney out of the great white and feeds it as a delicacy to its baby. You're on it. We're on the same wavelength, exactly. One last thing, Blake, before I let the next caller go. I do live by this Point Doom so-called submerged. I've got UFO activity out here, bro, for sure. Crazy. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, well, have that Leica camera ready, man. It's a sweet camera. Keep up the good work, and you know where to send it. You be safe out there in California.
10-4, thanks for letting me join the show. God bless. Talk to you later.
Okay. Thanks, man. It's interesting. We get these calls, and you just never know where it's going to go, and I appreciate the kind of random callers from different places and these incredible stories. People are amazing and articulate. Go to area code 703. You're live, Third Phase of Moon. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Good. Where are you calling in from?
From Northern Virginia.
All right. What you got a UFO sighting you want to share with us?
Yes, sir. I've actually called in before. I'm the combat Marine that called in a couple of weeks ago with the sighting and abduction story. I don't know if you remember me or not. I actually wanted to pick up where I left off from before. I know you guys have to keep it at around 5 minutes, but anyway, I had explained that from the age of 9 until the age of 39, I had been what I called taken, invited. And about a year ago, in August of 2019, I had a instance where I called it being taken. The beings that invite me, they never try. They will ask me one time if I would like to come with them. They never try to coerce me or convince me in any way, shape, or form. Usually they will speak to me for just a minute. And it's weird because it's kind of casual talking. And everybody says that when whatever these things are, talk to them, that they speak to them through telepathy. But I've never been spoken to with telepathy by these beings. The beings that invite me, they are almost like, they're docile. They're very docile. They don't get excited. They don't understand our emotions. They said that's the biggest thing that they try to understand about us, is why we get so emotional even over the most petty things. But the beings that take me, I call them beasts. I think I might have tried to explain this the last time that I spoke. It's almost like, I don't know if you've ever seen a turkey's beard or not, that's on a gobbler. They have this thick, coarse, it's almost like hair, like a giant strand of hair that comes out from the center of their chest. That's what the body of these beasts is, what I call them. And the name of who they are is called Aizrael, is what they say they're called.
How do they visit you? Do they come in a craft? Do they abduct you while you're sleeping? How did you get to close proximity with these beings?
The beings that invite me, I've been, I guess you could say, gosh, I can't believe I say this stuff out loud because it sounds so ridiculous, but it's almost like I'm inside of a sound. I think that they work or they move through some type of high frequency sound. It's the only way I can explain it, because whenever they invite me and I go with them, which is pretty much, I've only denied them twice, but I don't know if I'm inside of their aircraft and I can see out of it, but nothing can see in, almost like it's completely transparent. But it's kind of like they move. They have this board that sits on, it looks like a transparent, let's say it's like a transparent desk with an angled top, and they will press a couple of different places on the desktop and it will illuminate kind of like an aquamarine color, and then they will put their hand in different places, and every time they put their fingers, every time they put their finger in a different place, it vibrates. And I don't know if you've ever seen those videos where those people take sand and pour it on top of the little square piece of metal and they turn high frequency up on it and it makes different shapes. That's exactly what they do with their hands. Whenever they touch this liquid that's inside, it looks like a liquid inside of a picture frame. Whenever they touch it, it causes the aircraft to move. But there's no inertia. You can't feel it. And I'm talking about, we move at like being shot like a bullet out of a gun. We'll go from 0 miles per hour, for instance, to what I would say is maximum velocity and then stop instantly without, you can't feel it. But the other beings, they have a craft that has a hole in the center. If it's kind of a triangle shape, and it has a hole in the center of it. And this craft on the inside looks like there's no rivets, there's no welds, there's no bolts, there's nothing. It's almost like, what is that called? It's almost like 3D printing. There's nothing. You cannot differentiate one point of the ship to another part of the ship. And in the center of what I call the beast, the Azuriles people or beings, whatever they are, in the center of their ship, they have this square block that looks like a piece of steel, like it's kind of flat gray, kind of like titanium, that sits in the center of the ship. And on top of it, there's a ball about the size of a bowling ball, and you can't touch the ball. You can go over, you can put your hand near it, but you can't touch it. It's that no matter how hard you push toward it, you can't touch the ball. About 2 weeks ago, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and he had Bob Lazar on there. And when I heard Bob Lazar explain this, what he called the anti-gravity device that makes this ship move, I got sick at my stomach, because he described exactly what I saw when he said that he.
Wow, that's exactly what I was gonna ask you. So you're saying what Bob Lazar explains on the inside of this flying saucer, this extraterrestrial craft, is exactly what you're experiencing? That's amazing.
Exactly, 100%, exactly like what Bob Lazar said. That's what I say. I literally got sick at my stomach when he said it, because it was a confirmation for me. And this aircraft, when it moves, I have been from ground level to, I don't know if I was in space or if I was just in the upper atmosphere or what, but from not ground level, from about 60 feet in the air, where I went inside the craft through that hole in the center of the craft, from probably 30 to 60 feet off of the ground, to where I could see the sun shining on the water of the ocean, over top of the Atlantic Ocean, instantly. There was no time in between where we were to where. I'm sorry, excuse me.
That's so fast.
There was no
That's crazy
time
fast.
from where I was on the ground to where I was to where I could see entire continents. It was instantaneously. That's why I say it was like being shot. It was like a bullet being shot out of a gun. And if you remember the last time I spoke to you, when I was inside the ship of the Beast, there was these people inside these pools, almost like a bowl that had this green and black gel inside of it. And they told me that I could eat it, that I could breathe it, and that I could sustain myself with it. And there were people in these other bowls, as I call them, bowls that they look like a pit with this jelly in it, that looked like they had been in there for decades. Some of them had beards down to their belly button, gray-haired, skinny. And I'm not talking about just 10 or 15 people. I'm talking about hundreds of people.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when at the very end of the movie, the government or whoever was in charge of this thing, they knew the mothership was coming down, and they were prepared for all these abductees that were abducted over the decades, maybe hundreds of years, and being kind of released off the ship. And then they took Richard Dreyfuss aboard the ship. And it's pretty incredible. What an amazing story. I appreciate you calling in. I remember your story from the last time, but we got a little bit more detail in this episode, this radio show. So appreciate it. I got a lot of callers calling in. So you keep in touch. If you got any more details, you let us know. Let's get to the next caller right now on Third Phase of Moon. Let's go to area code 606. You're live. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Blake. How you doing?
Doing good. Where are you calling in from?
We're calling in from Kentucky.
Had a story that... show. What's on your mind tonight? Go ahead.
Had a story here that happened probably back in the 90s. Not as good as your last caller there. I remember his story from another episode of maybe YouTube. It's fascinating what he went through. Anyway, we had it was a train that had hit a UFO here. And apparently the government or whatever come in and disassembled the train, took it. So that was one that I remember. That was kind of fascinating here in Kentucky. The sightings I know have been up here in the last little bit. But that one there was kind of odd to me because we watched them pull the train out on flat cars. And even the guys, they had their blood tested and a whole lot of stuff. But I don't know if you ever heard of that story or not.
No, it's the first time I'm hearing it right now.
Yeah, it was on YouTube there for a while. I think they may have tried to remove it or whatever, but it was on there for a while. It was in eastern Kentucky here. But, yeah, they come in.
We'll do some research on that. A UFO that hits a train, that's pretty big news. If anybody could find out about that, you let me know. Appreciate that caller, area code 606. Let's go to more callers. They're building up, and we got to do this right here at Third Phase of Moon. 952. You there?
Hey, Blake.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello? Good. How are you?
Doing good. Do I recognize your voice? Is this Becky?
Betsy, yes.
Hey. So what's new? Have you seen any new recent sightings over your home? Any entities visiting you?
Yes, we have. Matter of fact, this is the time of year when they kind of come.
They're seasonal?
We've seen quite a bit. It's been snowing here, so it's kind of been hard to get outside the last couple weeks. So
you think they like the cold
we've
weather?
Huh?
So I'm asking, do you think these entities like colder weather?
I don't know. I think it's the time of year. It seems like to be in the fall when things change.
What are you seeing over there? Can you describe what these beings look like? How close do they come to you?
What happens is it comes in the middle of the night. Our fan in our bedroom has a fan going because I do. And the fan will go to a speed that doesn't even exist. It will like rev up. And it's just like, wow, what's going on? And then you start feeling like you're drugged, paralyzed. And that's kind of where you kind of get frozen and you forget what happens and then the next thing you know, you're waking up where you feel like you didn't even go to sleep. But you always wake up with a horrible headache. So you kind of know something happened.
Did you listen to our first phone caller and some of the experience of what he's having inside the ship? Have you been inside the ship? Is it kind of similar to what our first caller was describing to us?
I've had regression done about 2 years ago, and I kind of got freaky, so I kind of had to stop. But I've been down in places, but they weren't like in what I can remember wasn't a ship. Like underground facility type places. That's what I remember.
So you've been
through
taken
my regression
to underground bunkers?
I only did 3 regressions. I didn't go back anymore. So, plus it's really expensive. It's like $500.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of activity going on right now, and I know your experiences continue to happen. Keep in touch. Let us know what's going on. Let's get to the next caller right now on Third Phase of Moon. We got people calling, and we want to get to all the stories. Let's go to area code 816. You're live on Third Phase of Moon. How you doing today?
Hey, how you doing today, man?
Doing good. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Kansas City, Missouri. So pretty much, when I was littler, probably about 60. I grew up in Iowa. All right, and I remember, not much goes on in Iowa besides, so one night I was just doing my thing, you know, looking out the window, doing what every Iowa kid does, pretty much nothing. Anyways, later through the night, I heard a really big, like, explosion. Like, it sounded like, you know, a shotgun right outside the window. And then I seen a light, a really big light, and, like, it was so bright. I just didn't understand, you know. I figured, you know, because we had rented this farmhouse out, so we figured maybe the, you know, farmer come, got on the combine, maybe it was backfiring. But I looked, and there was nothing. I didn't really think anything of it. And then later on through the night after I went to sleep, I remember hearing the screen door just slam. And I'd gotten up, and I went out to look. Nothing was up there, but there was a spot upstairs, and this farmer didn't want anybody going up there for some reason. I don't even know why. But I just remember I heard something upstairs, so I figured, okay, somebody's in here, you know, it might be him. And I just heard this awful screech sound. And then it kind of hit me or whatever. Doesn't lightning happen before thunder? You know, don't you see a flash of light before thunder happens? And about that time, you know, I went back into the room, and I was about to grab the gun, you know, and got the phone. And around those times, though, we didn't have, you know, smartphones. It was flip phone. So I was looking through a notebook for the guy's number. And then just out of nowhere, I heard something fall, and I heard screeching. It sounded like a lot of things just fell. And I just heard thump, 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 down the stairs and right out the door. And I remember running to the door, and there was nothing, like nothing, nobody anywhere. I just thought to myself, now I didn't think anything of it then. Now I just think to myself, like, what was I staring at that was staring back at me that I couldn't see? And pretty soon after that, my mom, she came home, and she said, hey, we need to leave, and we pretty much packed up like 2 days later. So that's my story about, you know, but I'm definitely for sure.
No, that's crazy. So your mom experienced something that compelled her to pack up and leave the home?
Yeah, it was like 2 days later after that had happened, and I was at a friend's, and she said that something weird happened. It sounded like somebody was upstairs, and she couldn't figure it out, and it just freaked her out to the point to where, you know, and the farmer that we talked to, he was kind of confused too, but he didn't seem too concerned. He's just more of a point of like, yeah, people come and go here, or whatever, and that was in West Point, Iowa. So that's
do you think it was paranormal, or do you think it was something extraterrestrial? Do you think this was like a little alien being?
No, whatever it was, there was multiple, and I do think it was an alien being because I still to this day cannot explain the big, loud boom, you know, but and then a flash of light afterwards. And you never saw it again, though. So I think whatever was in there came there quite often because farmer said that people come and go out of there all the time, and you can't keep people in there. So, I mean, whatever was in there definitely took off to the field or was behind the barn or something, but it wasn't no paranormal ghost thing. It was just very extraterrestrial. It's just a smell. I remember a smell. Like,
really?
Almost like, yeah, it was like almost, it's hard to explain now, but it's almost like burnt rubber and burnt steak, you know? It was like somebody cooked rubber and steak in a pan, and it was just the smell, and yeah, but no footprints, no nothing, no anything like that. So to this day, I don't know what they wanted or what they...
Let me ask you are you still in Iowa now?
No, I ended up moving to Kansas City, Missouri. We got out of Iowa after that. Yeah.
You're tired of kicking up dust over there in Iowa doing nothing. I got you. But
yeah,
I wonder if those people I wonder if that house is still there. If any people as of today experience anything strange, as you're saying there, it was happening often over there.
Yeah, it was happening quite often. He said he couldn't keep people in there for more than, you know, like 3 or 4 months at a time. We'd only been there for 2 months. Like, my mom was working, you know, a really awful job, not bringing in very much. So it was what we had at the time, and I was, you know, still too young to work. But yeah, he said whatever was going on, because he made the comment about ghosts one time. He's like, oh, it could be ghosts, or, you know, but that stuff just doesn't happen, you know. Like, I mean, it sounded like a boom, not just a boom, but it sounded like something on fire. You know, like, And I just couldn't explain it. And then they'll flash a light or white light, and then I think it was white anyways. I'm not for sure. But that's one thing I do remember is the sound.
Like the crackling of lightning, like a static electric charge?
No. So when I was younger, I used to live in Orlando, Florida, and they used to have the shuttle come in all the time. And when the shuttle came in, there was a loud boom that you heard in the air. And that was almost exactly like it was, like something breaking the sound barrier, or something. But whatever it was, didn't sound like it broke a barrier. It sounded like it stopped immediately, and then broke the barrier or something. I'm not sure. I can't explain it. But
you know what?
Yeah.
Appreciate the call, man. That's crazy. I've heard of different kinds of smells and scents that you have around these beans, but burnt rubber and burnt steak, I've never heard that one before, but it's kind of strange stuff. I'm glad you got out of that house. Who knows what would have happened? Maybe your mom was smart to get you out of there.
Right. And like I said, with them screeching, they weren't just screeching. It was almost like communication, but whatever they knocked over scared them enough to where they were out of that house within seconds. And then, like I said, while I was looking out, didn't see nothing. They were probably staring back at me. That's my UFO story, man.
Pretty amazing stuff. I appreciate the call in from Kansas, and you be safe out there. And, it takes a lot of guts for people to come forward, share their stories. We even got more callers, and I want to get to them all. We got one coming in from Los Angeles. It looks like 310. We're going to get to them in just a second. But I just wanted to say that, these people that are calling in, I don't know anybody. These people are strangers to me. I just open up the phone line and have people share their experiences. That's what we're doing right here at Third Phase Moon. We're reaching out to the public. We're in contact with the public, and we're doing it 24/7, and it's our pleasure to do so. So give us a big thumbs up if you're joining us on the live premiere YouTube channel. I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us on this Third Phase of Moon radio show. We're going to be doing more of these, so stand by for that. I've got some breaking news UFO videos that have just been coming into my email, so we're going to be posting those up very shortly. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell to be notified when we post the latest news in regard to the UFO phenomenon happening right now. I want to thank everybody in the premiere chat tonight. Everybody's been very respectful, and all the support, the super chats, they go a long way. Everybody, keep your eyes on the skies. Be safe out there. We'll see everybody real soon.